The 4B movement is a movement in South Korea right now where the misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely.
Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you all doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video, it is an interesting video as always. This video, I'm super excited about this video and I need us to come and talk. We're talking about the 4B movement. If you don't know what the 4B movement is a movement that started off in South Korea, where South Korea women said, you know what, we're not going to marry men, we're not going to raise children with men, we're not going to have sex with men, and we're not going to married men. And that has really started a movement in the West and in other parts of the world where women are like, you know what, resonate so much with this movement, and it has struck a big conversation for women going and standing for the 4B movement and all that. Anyway guys, in this video we're going to hear women talk about this, including Korean women and even outside Korea women speak about this and how sustainable they think this 4B movement is going to be and how they think this 4B movement is going to affect women and be with women generally. Anyway guys, with that all said guys, let's go hear women talk about this, like women of all walks of life are talking about this movement. And let me know what you think about this movement on your own thought, what you think about it, if you stand with it or not. Let me know your thought. With that all said guys, let's go check out what the ladies have to say about this 4B movement, then we'll come back and talk more.
I'm so glad you asked. The 4B movement is a movement in South Korea right now where the misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely. That is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration. They are not dating men. They are not marrying men. They are not having children with men. They're not even sleeping with men anymore. And it's called the 4B movement because the Korean words for those four things all start with the letter B. This kind of first started happening around 2016 when Kim Ji-young, born 1982, a novel came out. And it is a fictional book about a Korean every woman and all of the misogyny and sexism that she's experienced from literally being a child all the way to her being an adult suffering with postpartum depression after having her child. Now, this book became a runaway bestseller among South Korean women because they were like, she's just like me for real. And that's kind of when it started cooking, right? Now, the movement officially got its name in 2019 and it's just been going ever since. It's so successful, in fact, that now South Korea has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. The number of deaths in South Korea outnumber the number of births in South Korea. And it's hilarious because all the men and the government are like, oh my God, what do we do? They don't want to like talk to us. They don't want to date us. What do we do? Like everything's in shambles. We don't know what to do. When South Korean women have been very clear from day one, they're like, hey, either you get your act together or we are literally eliminating all of this. Like, we are shutting it down. So that's the 4B movement and why I'm so obsessed with it and why I think we should have the 4B movement everywhere. Thanks for listening. Bye!
I think it's funny that Korean women are so done with Korean men that they're literally just deciding to die out. Y'all heard of the 4B movement? I'm a big fan. Korean women literally just gave up on their men. They're like, they're not gonna change, so we're all gonna go extinct. Which they literally are. By the way, Korea has like the lowest birth rates in the world. It's like really bad. But I just think that's so funny. That's also very Korean. Like, Korean as an ethnicity is about to go away and Korean women are literally just like
Maybe it's because I'm Korean and I've been aware of the 4B movement since it initially started, like way before it had the international attention it has now. But what do you think will happen in 5 or more generations when women just stop having kids altogether? Because the Korean birth rate right now is at a 0.6. Like, that's actually crazy. Because for a country to sustain a generation, you need a birth rate of 2.1. We're at a 0.6. Like, will Korea end in my lifetime? Like, that's actually crazy to think about. But what will happen when women, and not even just women, like families in general, just stop having children because it's too expensive to have kids? Because I was trying to go to bed and my mind just started wandering. Like, what if the bargaining power, like, goes to women? Like, what if the governments are so desperate to, like, have more citizens, like, more babies, they actually start, like, begging women and like women get to like step into their power for the first time in the world's history? Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Or maybe I'm just being too hopeful. I don't think that will stop women from having children, especially now that we're like aware of how much of a emotional, like physical toll it takes on our bodies and mental health. Like, I don't know what will happen. Like, will the earth just like die out in like 7 or more generations from now? Like, is that a thing that could be in the near future? I don't know.
We have the power to make morons go extinct like dinosaurs. The morons here are just creating mediocrity. They are creating harm to Mother Earth, disrespecting the planet, and they are cancer to the planet. We don't need that, okay? We can live without mediocrity. We can live without the morons, okay? And if you're continuing to procreate with morons, you're just making little morons. We don't need that sugar. Y'all acting like pregnancy is not a high risk as a woman, especially a black woman. You can possibly die from childbirth, and you out here going half on a baby with a moron that hasn't even bought you a ring or signed paperwork to commit their life to you? How silly. But you thinking, oh, he gonna stay because he love me. He is just talking. It's all talk, no bite. You need to let people be about that action. You need to see paperwork. You need to see funds in the bank account. You need to quit being on this fantasy and just being all in la la land as a woman and just thinking that love is sex or love is attention. Love is respect. Does this respect you or not? If he respects you, he will put his life on the line and sign some paperwork for you. If he not willing to do that, don't have no baby with no modern day bum.
Update on the 4B movement that's happening in Korea. If you are not aware what the 4B movement is, it's basically no marriage, no relationships, no babies, no sex with men. And it's moving all across the world. And men forgot something really important. Women are your creators. Now, over 150 elementary schools have no first graders. None. At all. And they've only been doing this since 2019. We created you. We are the reason any of y'all are here. But y'all thought you're the powerful ones? Let's see who actually has the power. If you want to praise your creator, it's not a magical man in the sky. It's the female body. But no, you wanted to oppress us. You wanted to disrespect us. We'll see who really needs who.
Hey ladies, I'm seeing a lot about the 4B movement. From my understanding, it's a movement that started in Korea with women deciding that they weren't going to date men or sleep with them or have their kids, I guess until they receive a higher level of treatment or a better level of treatment. And I think that we can kind of see that in America, at least on social media, of women deciding that we're going to raise our standards and we're not settling for less and we don't want the bare minimum and all of that. But I don't really... honestly, not to sound like a Debbie Downer, but I feel like a lot of this is just internet talk. I feel like most women in their day-to-day lives, especially women who are not actually on the internet and being flooded with this type of messaging, I feel like they're still very much down bad in their relationships and in their interactions with men. I don't see it really giving treat me well or I don't want to be with you. It's still giving very much I'll take what you can get or I'll take what I can get. So I see a lot of women saying that they want this to happen in America, but honestly, I think it would take a while before we ever get to that point. And also, more importantly, I don't think that the response to that is going to be good. I don't think it's going to be a pleasant experience. I don't really see a world where women, the majority of women, decide to stop entertaining and dating and sleeping with men. And then men in response to that are like, okay, yeah, we'll do better. Let's just start doing better, guys. Let's just start treating them with respect. Let's start seeing them as human beings. Let's start respecting their choices. Yeah, let's do it. I don't see that happening. I feel like there's going to be a lot of steps in between here and here. And in my head, the steps are not pleasant. I think first that they're going to retaliate and rebel against it. As we all know, a lot of men do not take rejection well. So if you're not going to give it to him, he's either going to find a way to take it or he's going to you and punish you for not giving it to him. And even though this movement is being like caused by and fueled by the red pill movement, I also think that it's just going to turn even more men to that red pill type of content. So after they retaliate or rebel in some way, they're going to go home with their tail between their legs, feelings hurt, and go looking for community, and they're going to find that community in that red pill content. And I don't really know what happens after that, but in my head, I just feel like it's going to take years before we ever see like a shift, like a real shift, and on a widespread scale of how men treat and view women in our society. And I wish that I had another answer, but I really don't think that there is one, especially with the economic turn that is allegedly about to happen. From the looks of it, it feels like there's about to be a huge shift on our financial status as a whole. So I think that women on an individual basis are probably going to feel a lot more pressure to be coupled up because of the money. The reason that women feel so comfortable rejecting men nowadays and not being in a relationship and not feeling pressure to have a man nowadays is because we're independent and we don't need it. And now we know that there are other ways that we can provide for ourselves, and things that men could do for us, we can do for ourselves. But if the economy takes a crash the way that most people are predicting it to, then I think that's going to cause a lot of women to feel a lot less secure in themselves, and it might cause you to lower them standards a little bit so that you can be coupled up for that money. Everybody knows it's cheaper to be in a relationship, especially as a woman. So I don't know. I just feel like it's feeling like a lot of stuff is about to go down. That's all I gotta say. Again, I don't want to be a fear mongerer, but it just feels like things are gonna get worse before they get better. And I think it's coming.
Korean women have no idea what the 4B movement is, and we need to stop this misinformation online. By now, you've probably heard that Korea has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. And a lot of people on TikTok specifically are attributing this to the 4B movement, which, if you don't know, it's a radical feminist movement that basically tells women to completely eliminate men in their lives, which includes not dating them, not marrying them, not sleeping with them, not having children with them. When you search up the term on TikTok, you will not see one single Korean person being like, yes, this is me right now, this is me, I'm 4B. As someone who has lived in Korea for 4 years, the first and only time I've ever heard about this movement is from TikTok, from Western creators. I asked my Korean friends, like, hey, what do you think about the 4B movement? They literally told me, I don't know what that is. Something to also note, in Korea, being a feminist or referring to yourself as a feminist is still kind of like taboo. Tell any Korean man that you're a feminist, he'll look at you crazy. So no, the birth rate in Korea is not low because of the 4B movement, a movement which started around 2016/2019. It's because it's just too expensive. People are still dating, people are still getting married at a lower rate, but again, it's because it's too expensive. Speak to any Korean person and they will say, I want to get married. I maybe want to have kids if I can afford it. No normal everyday Korean person is telling you, yes, I'm practicing the 4B movement. Korean women have no idea what the 4B movement is, and we need to stop this misinformation.
Okay, so thank you to my friend Annie for making that video, because I am a Korean woman currently living in Korea and I have so much to say about this topic. So most of the 4B movement videos that I've seen on TikTok are made from foreigners, and I think Korean Americans or just Asian people living in the West, but not actually people living in Korea. So like I said, I live in Seoul. What I think is happening is the Western media likes to really pick up on these sensationalist, provocative topics and then makes it into an article, and then everyone on TikTok follows suit and makes videos about it. But let me tell you, I am 29, going to turn 30 this year, and literally all the conversations that I have with my friends around my age is about, oh my god, we're looking to get married, we need to find good partners, and we need to do this before it gets too late or we're just like aged out of their marriage market, you know. And I just made a YouTube video about this, Korea's population crisis, why nobody's getting married or having babies. But I also explained there are services in Korea like marriage matchmaking services where people go and you pay a broker and you submit all this information about yourself, your income, your assets, your family background, if you have any debt, like which university you went to, you submit all that information, and then they take that and then they will try to match you up with people who they think that you're on par with. So you know how you see in K-dramas how like the poor girl ends up marrying the richest CEO of Korea? Yeah, in reality that never happens. So people go to these marriage services and they're heavily used. There are literally so many in the country because everyone is using them. And so the 4B movement in Korea is a very, very small fraction of the whole Korean population in general. It's just the Western media likes to highlight that part and make it seem like it's the biggest issue in Korea, which it really is not. I can promise you that. Don't believe all those sensational articles written online all the time. Most people in Korea still like the other sex. We want to date, we want to find love, we want to get married. Those are like the big majority. And it's only the small group of extreme radical misandrists and extreme radical misogynists. They just seem like the loudest because the most attention goes to them. But yeah, I literally just dropped a YouTube video explaining about this whole thing, so go watch it, Anna Lee on YouTube.
I've been informed that a lot of women don't even know what the 4B movement is. If you don't know, it's a movement that's based in Korea where women are essentially taking a stand against the patriarchy. The 4Bs, or the 4 no's, include not dating men, no intercourse with them, no marriage with men, and definitely no children. So being child free, which is what I've been doing pretty much for 8 years. This creator basically said in her video that some American read an article about the 4B movement, ran with it, and it just went viral on TikTok. As you can see, I Googled the 4B movement and there are thousands of articles that came back, dating back at least 3 years. So either every single article is lying, or this 1 or 2 creators are lying, or maybe they're downplaying it. Maybe I'm not trying to call them liars, maybe they just have their own motives and they might be biased against the movement. She also said that not many people actually know about the movement in Korea and that there's only just a small part of the population that is actually a part of the movement. She said that the majority of people in Korea want to get married, they want to find love, they even have services dedicated to that. She also said that the participants in the 4B movement are engaging in misandry, and that's where I have to stop her. That's not really what the movement is about, at least not here like how we have started here in the US. Honestly, I think that she has some biases against the movement. Also, I heard that a lot of women are not able to freely talk about being in the 4B movement because feminism is, I guess, frowned upon there, and they could actually get into a lot of real trouble. So a lot of them are talking about it or engaging in it secretly to not expose themselves. So basically, if the movement is not as big as in Korea as we all thought it was, that doesn't matter, okay? There is a movement and it has begun. It's been there for a good 3-4 years now. So all we have to do now is make it a global movement, because this is essentially so important for every single woman that is watching this video right now.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. But please keep it respectful as always. So let me know what you think about the 4B movement. Do you think this is just a propaganda when it comes to Western media? Or do you think that, Western media and the rest of the world just blowing it out of proportion? And do you think that the 4B movement is going to be sustainable? Do you think it's going to really help the relationship between men and women? Or it's going to help women if women choose to go for the 4B movement and stand strong? Especially majority of women choose to go for the 4B movement. Please go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know your thought on this. So here's my thought on this. For my expression and my reaction, this is a movement that I love. And one of the reasons I love this movement is the fact that women know who they are, what they are, and they are standing for it. And they are putting their 10 toes down and like, you know what, this is us and this is it. And women realizing that the patriotic system has always designed to humble us, to make us feel less, to make us not live to our full potential, and we're like not having it. And I feel like the couple of ladies that have been speaking down on the 4B movement, like, it's not that popular in Korea. Korea women still want men and all that. Like the lady that I was talking about it, I was saying it's not that popular. She even answered a question and said that most Korean women, feminism is being seen as a taboo. So if something is still seen as a taboo, how would a woman that is on this movement come out openly to say this in our society, in our culture? Coming from somebody that a whole lot of things is a taboo, sometimes there are some places you go, you're not able to stand up and speak up for things that you strongly believe in, because people are going to literally curse you. Some people may even harm you, and some people may even think you're crazy, which I personally, I don't care for that part. You think I'm crazy, that's your business. But yeah, literally. So she just literally answered the question. That's why probably they are not seeing so much of it in Korea as the Western media. And that's because these women are still being kind of controlled and being shamed for going for this movement. But for me, I'm 100% here for this movement. Women need to take their stand. Women need to take their stance and know what they believe in and stand for what they believe in. But the fact that a lot of men really don't want to treat women better and are not even making the effort to treat women better, and don't understand that in terms of the grand scales of humanity, a woman owns, like, we owe a larger share of how we procreate and everything. Yes, it takes two people, a man and a woman, to procreate, but the majority of the share goes on the woman. There's so many women that men has gotten pregnant, but their body did not keep the pregnancy, and so it always falls down to the woman to keep it, to procreate and all that. So for a lot of men to think that okay, but like the other sister was talking about how she doesn't see how visible this is going to be because men are going to react to it, and she doesn't see it coming. That kind of a little bit worried me a little bit, because I feel like when this movement really goes really strong, which I feel like it's going to be strong, I didn't expect it to. It's really moving so fast that I'm just like, okay, I didn't expect it to move this fast, but it's moving so fast. And even coming to this part of the world, Africa, and people are really talking about it, bit and pieces. People like me, people are just sprinkling it here and there, and people are having this conversation, and a lot of women are like, I think I like that movement. So she's talking about how men, they might react negatively about it. I think they will. But me saying that, okay, that movement is not going to happen anytime soon, I feel like the movement is already happening. The fact that a couple of thousands of women are standing 10 toes on this movement, I feel like it's already happening. Like, the result is going to be showing. And people talking about, it's the economic situation in South Korea, that's why the birth rate is so low. I get it, the economic situation is affecting birth rate, I get it. But with this movement, I feel like it's hitting Korea even more, because low-key, even though these women are not vocally speaking up because it's a taboo in their culture and in their society, they're still holding back. You get what I'm saying? They are very intentional about who they choose to have children with, and which has dropped the birth rate in Korea drastically. And yeah, and they said there's no 4B movement there. Even if there's no 4B movement, women here that are not South Korea were ready to pick up that movement, ready to carry that movement and move on. Because we women, we need to really look out for ourselves, stop being with bombs, stop being with men that won't treat us right, and all that. We need to not receive just the bare minimum. We need to ask for, like, demand for things the same way these things are being demanded from us to be better people. Men have to do better, because it's just not working. The way they've been running the patriarchy for a long time, it's not working. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't favor us, and we need to stand 10 toes. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. But please keep it respectful as always. Go on and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl. With that all said, guys, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.